You ever stop and wonder if all this amazing technology is actually making us, weaker? Today, we're diving into that fascinating and, let's be honest, slightly unsettling idea, the digital atrophy. This whole thing, it isn't a new fear. It actually starts with a dream. We're talking way back in 1945, long before anyone was thinking about the internet. A scientist named Vannevar Bush imagined this incredible machine that could work with our minds, a perfect partner to boost our own intellect. And let's face it, that dream, it's pretty much our reality now. AI has become this invisible, unbelievably convenient partner in our day-to-day lives. It just takes the mental load off, making everything feel just a little bit easier. And this is the big but we're digging into today, is this perfect partner actually making us weaker? Is all this convenience coming at a hidden cost? By outsourcing our thinking, are we letting our own cognitive muscles just waste away? So, first up, let's just acknowledge the appeal here. AI is designed to make our lives easier, to reduce our cognitive load, and man, it does that incredibly well. But here's the thing. This idea of offloading our brain power, it's not new, not at all. Which brings us to our second point. This is actually a very familiar pattern. Okay, so check out this timeline. It's actually fascinating when you see it all laid out like this. It goes all the way back to writing. Plato, of all people, was worried it would create forgetfulness in us. Then you've got calculators in the 70s. Remember being told you wouldn't always have one in your pocket? Well, then the 90s brought the internet and what researchers call the Google effect, where we're great at remembering where to find information, but not the information itself. GPS started to weaken our natural sense of direction. So when you look at it this way, generative AI isn't some crazy revolution. It's just the next and maybe the most powerful step in a very long journey. And if you want a perfect real-world example of this, look no further than London taxi drivers. To get their license, they have to memorize thousands of streets. It's this insane test called the knowledge. And studies show that the part of their brain responsible for spatial memory, the hippocampus, is literally bigger. It gets a workout. Now, compare that to those of us who just blindly follow our GPS. We're passive followers. We don't engage that mental muscle. And the research is pretty clear. This is correlated with impaired spatial memory and, get this, even a steeper cognitive decline over time. That's wild. So this really gets us to the heart of the matter. Section 3, the mind under strain. What specific parts of our thinking are taking a hit in the age of AI? And it is just incredible how Plato's warning from over 2,000 years ago sounds like he could have written it yesterday. He was worried that if we start storing our knowledge outside of ourselves, we'll forget how to use our own memories. It's the exact same anxiety, just with a different technology. So the research really points to 3 key areas where this erosion is happening. First up, memory. We're becoming information librarians. We're experts at finding the book on the shelf, but we're less skilled at actually reading it, connecting its ideas, and synthesizing something new. Second, judgment. This is a big one. It's like a pilot who only ever flies on autopilot. If they never have to manually fly the plane, those critical skills start to decay. And third, attention. Oh man, this one is huge. Our AI-driven feeds are training our brains for constant, jumpy, partial attention, which makes the deep, quiet focus needed for real thinking feel almost impossible. And look, this isn't just a vague feeling. A recent 2025 study by Michael Gerlich actually put a number on it. They found a strong negative correlation between heavy AI use and critical thinking scores. That number you see right there, negative 0.68, represents that direct link. And here's what that number actually looks like. It's pretty stark, right? The study showed that on average, the participants who are heavy users of AI tools scored lower on critical thinking tests. The people who use them sparingly, they scored higher. There seems to be a direct trade-off between the convenience of outsourcing analysis and the strength of our own critical thinking. But okay, let's be fair. There is another way to look at this whole thing. So, Section 4. Is AI a tool that elevates us, or is it a crutch that weakens us? So the optimistic argument is really compelling. It goes like this. The calculator didn't destroy math, right? It freed mathematicians from tedious arithmetic so they could focus on higher-level concepts. The idea is that AI will do the same thing for us. It'll handle all the mundane mental chores, freeing us up to be more creative, more strategic, more human. That sounds great, doesn't it? But it begs a really critical question. Can we really classify foundational skills like memory and reasoning and judgment as mundane? Are these things we can afford to outsource without any serious consequences?
And this is where that whole augmentation argument gets a little shaky, because it really rests on two big assumptions. First, it assumes that skills like memory aren't the very bedrock that higher thinking is built on. And second, it assumes we're making a conscious choice to delegate, when in reality, our reliance often becomes a seamless, unconscious habit.
So if there's a real risk, what can we do about it? Well, this brings us to our final section, this idea of practicing cognitive hygiene. The sources suggest a few really practical steps. First, seek out digital friction. I love that phrase. It just means deliberately choosing the harder cognitive path sometimes. Navigate somewhere without GPS. Brainstorm ideas on a blank page before you ask an AI. Second, practice unassisted problem solving. Really try to wrestle with a challenge on your own first. Use AI as a collaborator, not as a replacement. And third, and this is a tough one, actively cultivate deep focus. Read a physical book. Engage with things that demand your sustained attention. And that really brings us to the final thought here. Maybe the biggest challenge we're facing isn't some sci-fi rise of super smart machines, but the quiet, steady decline of our own intelligence. Perhaps the ultimate question isn't what the machines will be capable of, but what will we still be capable of doing ourselves?